We are moments away from giving you a tour of our outdoor bathhouse slash outhouse and answer some questions you probably have. But first, we have a few final touches to work on.
Our first task is to cut these boards at the front even. They were left this way after I built the floor at the very beginning, so it's time. The door has no latch on the backside for you to close it when you're in here, so we're gonna fix that. My thought is to screw this in so that it goes just like that.
So we need to add another brace right here just to make this wall a little more sturdy.
Okay, 48 inches.
We had this laying around, so that's what we're gonna use. For a test.
Nice and sturdy. Should I put a screw here?
The back is
Been neglected.
been neglected. It's also the messiest.
Yes, but it works. So we need to fill in those holes though, because that's not supposed to be like that.
Yeah. What's Savannah working on over here?
Oh gosh.
We are very excited to say that we have finally completed our bathroom. I don't think there's anything else on this whole property that we can say that about. So let's take a tour. We really wanted this to look like it was a part of the landscape, so we nestled it in between two trees. Well, actually, I think there's several trees around it. And we had all this scrap wood laying around from having some trees milled. So that's what we used to build this whole outdoor structure. It is certainly not plumb and square, but it's very organic and natural looking. In the front, we added some pathways and this hosta garden to tie it all in. Behind me is our composting toilet. If you don't know what that is, it doesn't flush, we don't have septic. The liquids and solids are separated, and I can link below our urine diverter and the like whole toilet setup. It's awesome. The liquid goes into a gray water system that we dug out behind. The solids are in a bucket, and then you just cover those with sawdust. Yeah, that's it. It's pretty simple. Also in this section, we have some decor. This was just like a leftover piece of wood that we had, so we turned into a plant shelf. This light fixture is something we picked up. Well, really it was just this rattan thing that we put a light bulb in, but it's from Tulum. And behind me, this cabinet Savannah built, and it just stores our toilet paper and other things. And then we just have this shelf for funsies. The windows is just plexiglass. We had that laying around, so Savannah just built a frame for it. And behind here we have some hooks to hang towels and whatnot.
So this section is the newest section. It is the sink, and we're very excited because this is our first heated sink. This sink was a total DIY project. This is a dough bowl that we got at an antique market in Texas, and it was very cheap, and we turned it into our sink, sealed it up really good, and then the faucet is just made from some copper pipe. And I have built a custom vanity with some boxes to go underneath there where we will put all of our stuff in there, like I don't know what, but stuff, you know.
Toilet, just say toiletries.
Toiletries. Also here we have another light from Tulum, Mexico. We also have this shelf over here that Casey has had for her whole life. No, very long. How long have you had this?
Since before I knew you.
Since before we were friends. And it's kind of moved to every house, so it hasn't had a spot since we've been on this land, so here it is for more toiletries. And I also have this little rack down here that I just built for our bath mat because I put this down, you know, when you get out of the shower to stand on, but because this is outdoor and we track in dirt, I don't want it to sit on the ground any other time besides when you're showering, so it can dry out right here. And back here is the shower. Here is where our heater is, and it's a tankless water heater used, and it uses propane. And then this is our shower head, and it kind of moves wherever you need it to, and it comes off, which is really nice. There's a new little footstool right here for shaving your legs. You could sit there, I guess, if you wanted to. And then this is where all of our shower stuff is. And because we have this very light but also shaded space, we now can have houseplants again, which we haven't had for a couple years, I feel like. So this is where we have a lot of these guys. If you're wondering how we get electricity out here, we are off grid and we have a battery bank from Battleborn Batteries. That is how we power everything on our land. Now let's go outside and talk about water.
So this is an IBC tote that holds our water. We get the water from this gutter that goes into here. We have it hooked up to a water pump that we turn off and on inside here when we're ready to use it. And it is a very simple system, but it is great. We need to get a
Cover.
There's a cover that goes on that, so it'll help prevent allergy. We have a filter to catch debris at the top, so to keep like big chunks and things from coming out, but there's also several different ways to treat this water to make sure it's clean, but we don't like sit there and drink it or anything like that. So we have this splitter on here. This is the water hose that goes to the actual bathhouse, and then we just have this extra hose, which is actually coming very handy. It's just this little short hose that I'll water the plants that are around here with. So I really liked having that. That's why we elevated. We actually considered just putting it on the ground, but I went ahead and was just like, maybe let's go ahead and elevate it, and it's actually been a game changer. I'm glad we did that. So we essentially built this building with, I don't know, I'm making up a number, but 80% scrap materials. The only things we purchased for it, for the structure, was the flooring, which is decking, and then the plastic roofing. Those items together cost about $200, but all the other materials were trees, little pine trees that we had on the property, and from wood that, again, that we had milled, and scrap wood and materials. We have so much of that. So it's been really nice to, first of all, get that wood pile down, and then have this beautiful structure that is very useful to us.
We get a lot of questions about what we are going to do in the winter time. First of all, we have lived on this land for 2 winters, and we haven't really had a permanent bathhouse, so we're not really worried about that. We will not likely use this through the winter because winterizing the lines will be pretty hard. It's not impossible. We are hoping that by the time it is too cold to use this bathhouse, that we will have another solution somewhere else on the property. To be continued, to be determined. We also get a lot of questions about bugs and snakes and critters and those kinds of things. And yes, there are spaces, which is on purpose. We don't want it to get too hot in there. We want it to be super airflowy. We want cross ventilation. We want it to dry out very quickly. That is like that on purpose. And we are outside every single day, gardening, swimming in the stock tank pool, just building things. We are exposed to bugs constantly, and honestly it really hasn't been that big of a problem. We definitely had to knock down wasp nests every now and then in here, but to us it's just not a big deal.
We also get a lot of questions about what are we doing to prevent mold. That's a great question. First of all, the space actually dries out very quickly. As Savannah mentioned, it is very ventilated in there. However, we do want to be on top of that. We are going to seal it with we're kind of debating on different products to use. If you have a suggestion of a product that we could use, that we're looking for a product that prevents mold and wood-boring insects. I think we have an idea, but if you have a suggestion, we would love to hear it. Side note, when we want suggestions, we will ask them in the video. But we're definitely gonna seal it up. There is no standing water. It dries out very quickly. You may not be able to tell it in the video, but there are actually slats in between the deck boards, and it just drains below the deck like that. So again, that's not causing any problems. I know it can. Please don't tell me about them. It is working for us. We've actually been using the shower for months now, and we haven't had any problems. We can come up with a solution if we do, but it's a very well-oiled machine right now. We have 2 other videos about the process of building this. If you want to see more of the nitty-gritty of us actually putting it together, you will see that it started out as a much smaller project and it kept growing and growing, and we are very happy with the end result. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.